Okay, so now we're going to look at deciding which number set would fit a different situation. So there will be some of these which have potentially some areas where you could argue a different number set, and I'll go through that as we go. So we're going to match each situation with the most appropriate set of numbers. We've got A, which is rational numbers, B, which is integers, C, which is whole numbers, and D, which is positive real numbers, and finally E, all real numbers. So every single value, both positive, negative, irrational, and rational. So let's get started. Let's do A. So A, we have the number of cars in a parking lot. What's going to be an appropriate value for this? Well, it can't be integers because we can't have -1 cars in a parking lot. In the same way, it can't be positive real numbers either because a positive real number would be 1.25 and we can't have 1.25 cars in the parking lot. So what we're looking for here is going to be whole numbers, and whole numbers is a particular subset of our rational numbers, which is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. It doesn't include integers. Well, it is part of the integers, but integers include numbers like -1, -2, etc. Alright, let's look at B. So for B, we have the depth in meters of a submarine below sea level. Now this one could be a couple of things. So, depending on how we're speaking about how far below the sea it could be, we could end up with either integers, right? It could be that I say, oh, we're -4 meters, you know, underneath the sea, or I could just say we're 4 meters below the water. It could also be all real numbers because we can use the same type of terminology or the same way of speaking but involving real numbers. It might not be exactly 4 meters or 5 meters or anything like that. It might actually be some kind of very specific depth. So it could be all real numbers. Alright, C, the mass in grams of ingredients in a recipe. So this is going to be positive real numbers. And the reason is because I can't add negative 1.5 cups of flour. But it could also be a situation where if you were thinking about it, you might say rational. And the reason you might say rational is because you might be thinking in terms of common measurements that we use in the kitchen, like 3/4 or half a cup or anything like that. And that is ultimately being a number that can be expressed as the ratio of 2 or fraction of 2 integers. So that's possible. Alright, here's a few for you guys to practice, so give the video a pause, give them a go, and then I'll solve them. Okay, let's get started. So we have the score in a video game which can go up and down. This is going to be integers. Okay, so you might lose a point, or you might gain a point, but you're never going to gain 1.756284 recurring points. So let's go with E, the price per liter of fuel. So this is going to be positive real numbers. Okay, we're going to pay actual positive prices, or positive prices from the perspective of the service station. They're going to expect us to pay $4 per litre. They're not going to expect us to pay -$2 per litre. That means that they pay us, which is kind of insane. Okay, for F, we have the reading on a digital bathroom scale in kilograms with decimals. So because of that specific kind of criteria, we're also going to say positive real numbers. When we step on a scale in terms of measuring our weight, we only see the number go up. We are either we are going to see how heavy we are in positive terms. It would be very confusing to step on a scale and to say something like minus 20 kilograms. That doesn't really have any meaning to us. That means we are actually lighter. Somehow we've removed weight from the scale we just stood on. So if this happens, it probably means your scale is broken. Whereas usually what we'll see is like 77 kilograms, okay? Now if it has decimal numbers, that's why this would not be whole numbers, because ultimately it's going to allow the scales to express more numbers or more values depending on how specific the scales are and how much we weigh. Alright, that's it for this video. Hope it was helpful, and I will see you in the next one.